Hey guys, it's Jill. If you didn't know, I'm living in Estonia for, well, 3 more months, but 9 months total. And this is sort of a late video. I haven't put one up for a couple of weeks, I think, mostly because things have been changing. Estonia is starting to melt, so I've been going outside more and just adventuring, traveling around quite a bit. This week's video is extra exciting because my boyfriend came to visit and it made the week absolutely incredible. We went to Stockholm together first, and then I brought him to Narva for a few days, and then he got to see a lot of Tallinn before he flew home. And I'm still sort of getting used to the idea of him not being around again. It took a while to get used to when I first got here, and now that he's left, I have to sort of readjust again. But the trip is only about 3 more months, which is very bittersweet. I love it here and don't necessarily want to leave, but my future plans are sort of coming together. When I've established those for real, I will make a video about it, but I'm also a little bit anxious to get home to him now. Anyway, this video is like the tail end of the week before this week, and then the time that we spent in Stockholm, Narva, and Tallinn. I hope that you enjoy it. I finally played this game called Dixit that people in Europe had mentioned, and when I say Europe, I mean, you know, mostly the east-ish side, the side that I've been traveling on the most. And I finally got to play with my access group, and it was really fun. I hope that I can find a copy of the game at home because I really don't want to buy it here so that it would take up room in my suitcase. I'm hoping that I can find it on Amazon or something. I also visited a school that I hadn't visited in for a while, which was really fun. It was nice to see those kids again and sort of test what they could remember from the last time that I was there. And then I actually presented at a teaching conference, which was interesting because I've been teaching English for a while. I started teaching English at the Refugee Empowerment Program in Memphis, Tennessee, and that's where I kind of figured out that teaching is something that I do really like doing. Not necessarily as my main gig. I don't really know if I want to stay in academia or not after grad school, but you know, I do really like it, and that's sort of where I figured it out. And it was strange to present to teachers that are actually, you know, real certified teachers in schools full-time. It was interesting to be asked to do that, but my lecture was about keeping the classroom and keeping assignments creative so that the teacher doesn't get bored and give off a negative vibe that the students then pick up. And it's a very reciprocal relationship, the teacher-student relationship, and so, or it should be. And so I did a presentation on keeping that interesting for everyone, and I think it went really well. Shout out to Brenna and David for letting me stay with you guys. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I always appreciate it. Wish that Tartu was a little bit closer, or that I was able to go a little bit more. But you guys are great, and I really liked spending time with you. Also Jared. Thank you for hanging out with me. I went straight from Tartu to Stockholm, and Tony's flight got delayed, so I actually had about a day there, a little over a day, maybe? Yeah, a little over a day there without him, which in some ways sucked, but in other ways was good because I got to do a lot of the footage stuff without necessarily slowing down his trip. So the next couple of bits of footage are from that, and then he finally got here and it was awesome. I didn't take all that much footage of when he was here, but it was enough to fill up this video. I will have another Stockholm video up, so if you like the look of the Stockholm footage that I took, or you're interested in seeing more Stockholm adventures from me, then go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button so that I know that this is the kind of content that you guys like. But that video should be up real soon because I'm planning to edit it basically right after I edit this one. We stayed in this really gorgeous hotel in Nacka, Sweden. The hotel view was gorgeous, and then he surprised me with a sauna and a jacuzzi on this snowy cliff. It was all very romantic and just really, really fun. Breakfast. Oh, there's a, what are those things called? I really enjoy the feeling of like being submerged in hot water, but then the air is really cold. It's kind of like it's very similar to the Estonian way of going into the sauna and then rolling in the snow and then going back into the sauna and then jumping into ice water. That strange combination that I don't think most people really experience in the United States. It was fun to experience that with him. We walked around for a little bit the next day, and then we went to the Vasa Museum, which is basically just this big boat. I highly suggest Googling it if history is something that you're interested in. It was gorgeous, and there were so many sculptures as part of it. These very colorful wooden people that were just designed and placed very specifically on the boat. I should be calling it a ship because it wasn't really a boat, it was a ship, if there is a difference. After the Vasa Museum, we ended up going on a cruise back to Tallinn, and the room was a little different than we expected, but it was okay.
Nice. 485, 483, 481, 482.
The ice was a little bit terrifying.
Black abyss. Let's go back. Oh, that's so much wind.
When we finally got to Narva, he visited my Narva Access class. I think the questions that they asked were really good. I got to teach a lesson on Harry Potter, and that's what the whole lesson was focused on, and they did this game where you run and you look at the image and then you run back and you have to like describe it, and everything is a team process, so it's a little bit like telephone, but not really. You'd have to do it. Maybe at the end of this fellowship I'll make a video about all of my favorite teaching games that we played while I was here. Then we went to Narva, which was really interesting because the Baltic Sea had frozen over. Tony didn't let me walk that far out onto the sea, but it was still really cool. It was a great experience. And then we got a massage that was very strange, and it's probably a story for another day, but it was interesting. We tried to visit the Silame group as well, but the building that I teach in was closed, but at least Tony got to see Silame, so when I talk about it, he has a better idea of what I'm describing and what I'm talking about. We also were able to, at some point during the week, but I can't remember exactly what day, put a love lock on the tree near Narva Castle. So we put this very nice lock that Tony carved our names and the date into on this sculpture that's this metallic tree outside of the Narva Castle that I think is absolutely beautiful. I love the sound it makes, and so that was really sweet and fun.
So that's Russia.
Yep. Oh.
And now for the next 3 months, if I feel like it, I can go and look at it. Friday we went back to Tallinn. We met up with Allison, which was nice. She suggested we take a walking tour. So we did the first part of a walking tour and then ducked out a little bit early to get some lunch and to see a little bit more of Tallinn on our own. In Tallinn, I also did something a little crazy, and I got a walk-in tattoo. I've been planning this tattoo for a while, so it's not like it was super spontaneous. But Tony hasn't been with me for either of my other tattoos, so it was kind of nice to have him there for this one, to kind of see what goes into it, how ridiculously I can twist my own face in pain and stuff like that. I will make a video talking about it later. If that's something that you guys are interested in, comment and let me know. He left early Saturday morning, and now here I am. So yeah, that was the week. I do have a trip to Amsterdam coming up and a trip with the international volunteers that are here this weekend. So hopefully the footage is interesting, and also hopefully I'll be able to get that footage up on time. Lots of announcements to come soon as I make some decisions, and it's all very exciting. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing. It really helps me know that these videos are fun for people other than me. Bye.
Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Does that look? Can you see the ice at all? Damn it. Is it going?
No, baby. No. No.
Okay.
Come on.
Sorry. You love this baby.